Right, first things first. Can someone tell me if I got audio? God, Bennett, what's going on with this light? That's a bit better. Right, I'll speak. Can anyone actually hear me? Okay, thanks, Dipsy. At least somebody's got their ears on. Darren Howell, Grunter, Del Boy. Yeah, hi everyone. Welcome to this stream. I've got a little bit of weird light going on here at the minute. Radiohead, yeah, okay, you can hear me. Right, I've titled this live stream CB Radio. I've got all sorts of gunge all over me. Sorry, lads, I've been out today, been pretty busy. Yeah, I'll start again. I titled this video, Is CB Radio Rocket Science? And obviously it's not, but a lot of people seem confused by frequencies, SWR and all the rest of it. So if you're one of them people, get in the chat section and ask some questions. 635's in the house. Has Bill been up to see you yet, Paul? And did he have it? You'll know what I mean. Mr. GM4. Hi, Chris. How you doing? Dipsy, antennas. Now, Dipsy, in case anyone don't know, allegedly is on a trawler, right? He's going to put a CB on the trawler. Okay, yeah, cheers, Mr. Metalhead. Dipsy, I know your trawler's got loads of aerials on it, but if you're going to have a CB, you need a CB aerial, something for like the 11-metre band, mate. David Lamb, yeah, hi, mate. Lee the Brewer's just got a magnetic loop. Awesome. Yeah, well done, Lee. Is it something that's like homebrewed or a shop? Yeah, okay, Dipsy. I think it's getting the Sirio, something like the Megawatt 4000 or the Sirio high power. And funny enough, now I'm not saying this because I'm biased in any way. I'm going to say this because I've actually had both. I've had the Sirio Megawatt 4000, and I went out and I got myself the Sirio Turbo 5000, thinking it was going to be better because, you know, the higher number. Because the Sirio Megawatt 3000, then they got the Sirio Megawatt 4000. I had both. The 4000 was better. So using that logic, I thought that the Sirio Turbo 5000 was going to be better, and it actually weren't. The Sirio Megawatt 4000 outperformed it. Richard Giles, just eating your tea. Yeah, fair play to you, mate. Darren Barwick saying, good to see the Robin still there. Well, maybe one week I'll just put him on a perch and you know, this blue light's a little bit much in it. And let me just turn this off. Oh, the red light's even scarier, isn't it? There you go, that's off. Yeah, Mr. Chris, Golf Mike, says get a 3-element beam and get the skipper to change direction. Yeah, that would work, but you know, how is everyone? Is there, you know, if any of you got any new kit? What is this all over me? I've had all sorts of crud all over me today. Darren Barwick says if he gets any nearer the screen, I'll feed him. Now, something I just want to quickly touch on, fellas, is this. You'll notice this happened quite a lot. All right. That's because I'm actually set up on a camping table and it's driving me nuts. So I'm going to have a little bit of a change around and get a proper desk here. Colin Guntrip, yeah, I'm fine, thanks, Colin. Jason, 2 Romeo Tango 431's in the house. Yeah, hi Jason, how are you, mate? Yeah, so mobile antennas. I think we've done this one, haven't we? But have any of you guys got something that in your book might be better than the Megawatt 4000 or as good as a full quarter wave? Or Grunter bought a job lot of old kit. Anyone know if an Oscar mobile antenna is any good? Grunter, I'll be honest, never heard of them, mate. Anyone else? Grunter, the best thing you can do is slap it on your motor if you've got a car or if you go mobile and try it. Touch wood on the hill. That's a bit of a suspect name. Charlie Tango 3872. Alan on the side. Yeah, welcome aboard, Alan. Colin Guntrip is 44 today. Happy birthday to you there, Colin. Hope you've had a good day and hope you ain't too hammered. Lee the Brewer says he needs a rotator to turn the loop. Anyone got one for sale? Lee, what? Sorry, I've been a bit preoccupied. What loop have you got? What bands does it resonate on? I've got one out in the shed. It goes down to, I don't think it will tune on 80 meters, but it definitely tunes on 40 and it will come right up to 12. It's a bit big. The guy that made it for me said it's got a bit too much capacitance to tune on 11 meters, and I keep wanting to tinker with it, maybe modify it so it'll work on 11 meters. The thing was absolutely awesome. I don't know if anyone's talking there. It seems to have frozen up the chat section. Eddie's mum. Hi, Brian. Was everything all right when you got in? Covers 10 to 20 meters, so it will tune on 11 then, Lee. Just be careful, but if you're close to it and you're putting any amount of power into it. Yeah, it seems very slow tonight. I don't know if the internet's particularly busy. What I want to know is, has any of you guys got a Murphy home base? Looks like no one's talking. I did see Del Boy in here earlier. Del Boy, you're still here, mate. If you are, can you just type something in? AMC Doogie Fresh says, evening, Steve. What's your mate? Hope you're all well and getting ready for Christmas. David Lamb says, are mag loops any good or as good as a decent vertical? In a nutshell, no, they're not. Okay, Del Boy, cheers, mate. Your message just came up. Yeah, Fred has got one. Do you know what? Since my last video that I did, we're taking the Michael out of the Murphy home base. 6 people have unsubscribed. Oh well. Now, David Lamb, do you use the amateur band, mate? Do you go on HF? Colin Wiltshire, hi mate, how are you? So if you use HF, I'll tell you something about magnetic loops. Now, the one I've got is a homebrew job. One of the local amateurs made it. Good on you, Bob. Scottish Fish and Chips. Yeah, Chris, this guy's talking about a magnetic loop. I've never used a Delta loop. I don't think I've ever had the room to put one up, and now I'm completely out of the amateur scene altogether. Okay, cheers, Paul. Magnetic loops, right? I mean, it's been a while since I've used mine. Yeah, okay, Colin, I'll copy. Sorry to hear that, mate. What I found with mine, I had a half-size G5 RV aerial up and something in line that I never normally use, and that's a switcher box. But this particular day, I picked up a switcher box. I just wanted to try it for my own benefit. On the wire, I was listening to 2 guys. One of them was right in the mud. I couldn't make out really a word the guy was saying. So what I did, I switched over to the magnetic loop, and I had a big lump of bamboo attached to the center spindle of the airspace capacitor, and I sort of tuned it with my long bit of bamboo. The guy that I couldn't hear on the half-size G5 RV, he was there. Unbelievable. And my loop, it's about a meter across. It was just sat on the ground. Absolutely awesome thing. Golf Mike 4 says he's made mag loops. They're good on RX, but no good on TX. What I found with mine, I was only an M3, and I say I am an M3. I just need to revalidate my license. With a 10 watts, and that was all I ever used, I want one of these. Well, I turn it up to 25 watts and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into my power meter, and then it comes up to 10 watts. Whereas in actual fact, you are peaking probably 20 plus watts, but that's another story. What I found mine was good for was PSK 31. I used to do a lot of PSK 31 on the 40 meter band. I would just have it literally sat on the floor outside my shed. I would tune it up and put out a few CQ calls on PSK 31, and quite often I'd have more than one signal come back. The thing was amazing. I got into Canada I don't think I ever got into the States, but through using PSK31, I did get an email come through, or a message from, I can't even remember the name of the group now. It's the place where you go and you can receive all your QSL cards. I had a message on there from someone that was using a program called Whisper, and they said they heard me and would I be interested in using Whisper, blah, blah, blah. But I will say on voice, on 10 watts, I don't think I ever did make a contact on it. Oh, Chris, you got busted, did you, mate? Well, tell us what happened. I know it might take a bit of typing, but I'm sure everyone wants to know what happens during a bust. Al Bast, hi Alan, how you doing, mate? Late again, don't worry about it. Come on, Chris, I'm waiting for a bit of info. What happened? Did you get a knock on the door, or was you in your car at the time? Mr. Colin, you the guy that's your birthday today and you've got something wrong with your spine. Is that something that's going to be with you for life, or you're getting treatment for that that's going to hopefully straighten your spine out for you, mate? I'd highly recommend a magnetic loop to anyone, but I will say the shop bought ones, the prices of them are extortionate. I just got to scroll up the messages here. This is from David Lamb, something about gets more banter on CB. Do you know what, lads? Around here, we have got a new guy. I have spoke to him. His name's Richard, I believe it is. He's got a Grant too. Seems a really nice lad. Apparently, there's a few others peppered around. And today, I've been out mobile. I went over someone's house for a few hours. Spoke to my mate Paul on the way there. I was using the Anytone, and on the roof was the President Texas. On the way back, I went in on the 305 net. I could hear, I think Tim, I think he is in Hartford. Okay, Colin, yeah, sorry to hear that. No doubt you're familiar with things like Oromorph and all the rest of it. Yeah, anyway, I did speak to a few people on the 305 net, but I was a little bit too far out, to be fair. But I also went on there the other day, and what I never mentioned this. Someone was playing music right over him. Now today, on the way back from, we'll call it Letchworth, put the rig on, same thing, listening on the 305, managed to get in, but I was pretty much in the back of the box to most people. I'm just reading Chris's thing about when he got busted. Yeah, so basically the 305 for me was a bit of a waste of time. And I thought, oh, know what? I've got a memory now programmed in to the Anytone. So I hit the memory button, went to the 19 on the Muppets. Someone on there playing music. I mean, can you believe it? Someone, you know, if I could meet this person, I would sort of tap them on the shoulder and go, hang on, mate, that went out of fashion back in the 80s. Yeah, I don't know if you're reading what Chris has put. This is regarding his bust from the DTI. Look for the message from GM4ZJI, I think it is. Running a 4-element Yagi at 40 foot from home with a 500 watt amp. Neighbours from hell moved in. Yeah, that's good, Chris. There is some decent people in this world, isn't there? Definitely. I think I've mentioned this to you guys before, about the 3 old boys used to sit on, not on the 555, but they used to meet there and then QS White to say 565 or round about there. All 3 of them got busted on the same day. Yeah, Bob, people still playing music. I mean, what? To be fair, if you think you're a bit of a DJ, become a DJ. Or if you want to play music, go on a blank channel, play music. That way people have got the option, but don't shove music down their throat. And I'm sure if that person keeps doing it, sooner or later he's going to have a knock on the door. Adrian says neighbours just don't understand. They don't. I've always been very lucky. Here is a little bit, I won't say it's a no-no, and I do occasionally put an Antron up in the garden. One of these days, I'm going to put up the Sirio 2008 that I've got. Some of you guys might have seen the video where all the legs were bent, because basically my mate Paul is in here. He was messing about with it and he dropped the whole lot and some of the legs got bent, but they're pretty much there now. I really want to get that up one day and give it a go. Martin O'Reilly, the same throwback from the day. Do you know what? I never ever understood why people played music. Some of them did it to annoy people. Some of them did it because they thought it made them something. But sooner or later, all of them, we've got to realise if you're doing it day and night, you're going to kill your own hobby. You'll be playing music to yourself. So, I don't get it. Yeah, Bob, it's bad. Well, I'll tell you guys now. Allegedly, right, back in the 80s, 90s, I had a Cobra 148 GTLDX, various aerials, including the Vector 4000, on 2 scaffold poles, and a Zetagi B300. I also had a BRL 210 and 2 BRL 200s at different times. So I used to buy and sell, like a lot of us did. Luckily, I never had a knock on the door, but some people would look out and say, "What's that?" I say, "Oh, it's me CB aerial." No, but it was far enough down the garden, so if it fell down, the worst damage it could do was maybe flatten someone's fence. Gardens tend to be very small now, and people are a bit wary, insurance and all that. Yeah, Chris, best fun he had was on the 11 meters in the 80s. Well, there's still that fun to be had, Chris. Martin O'Reilly, I'm not going to answer that one, mate. Colin Guntrip saying about the music. Anyway, what I was coming to, I used to run, I don't know, 100 watts, 200 watts, whatever, from home. Now, as Matey was saying, he operated for a long time with no problems at all till he had new neighbours. Now, it's going to sound wrong, but if you've got nice neighbours, you can basically do what you want. Talk to your neighbours, you know. If you're on talking terms, if they ask a question or show any concern or knock on your door and say you're interfering with me telly, you can sort it out. It's the ones that don't tell you that are an issue. Adrian Obby, yeah. Initially, you was only allowed a radiating element of 1.5 meters, if I remember. That's why that was it. The Thunder Pole came out that had the 3 legs on it. That was legal. If you had it over a certain height, you had to drop your power down to 1/4 of a watt, and that's what the old rigs with a little blue button on the back, or the high and low power. That's why that was there. But that soon went out the window. Because everyone was using half waves, 5/8 waves, sigma 4s, beams. Yeah, fair enough, Andy. Andy Howley. Hi, mate. How you doing? You know what? Them Thunder Poles did all right, you know. I remember one day turning the rig on and there was skip coming through from Ireland and Scotland. Most of the people back then were using a Thunder Pole. You know, they worked, you know. If the skip's running, you're gonna get contacts. If the skip ain't running, it don't matter what aerial you're using, what amount of power you're using. Excuse me, it's all down to the conditions. Anyway, one of my neighbours one day, coming back to running the power and everything, I was out in the street and he said to me, Steve, he goes, got a minute? I said, yeah, what's up, mate? He said, I can hear you on my telephone, right? I said, oh, how long's that been going on? He goes, be honest, it's been going on for ages. He said, but we don't worry about it because we can just hear you in the background. I said, oh, sorry about that, mate. He goes, it don't bother me. He said, but my wife's pregnant. And if we need an emergency call, we don't want to be hearing you on that. I said, it's all right, all understood. I'll try and sort it. Now, at the time, I'd mounted my aerial on a T&K bracket on the house. So what I did, got the ladders, took the aerial down, put it back on the pole, which is, I don't know, 30 feet or more away from the house. And when I knocked on my neighbour's door, I said, look, Eddie, I've moved my aerial. I want to see if I've cured the interference thing. I said, just pick your phone up. I'll run home. I'll do my thing. And then I'll be back in a few minutes. I went down there. We're shouting and screaming and whistling because I had teeth then. I could actually whistle because I was sidebanding. Came back up, knocked on his door. Eddie, is there any interference? He goes, no, not a thing. He goes, thanks a lot, mate. And that was it. It was sorted. And that really is the way to do it. But a lot of people nowadays don't want to talk to you, do they? And it's the ones that when you look at them, they look the other way. You've got to bloody watch. Oh, I ain't having that. I ain't looking out my bedroom window at that monstrosity. As if there was ever some sort of global disaster, they'd be the first ones knocking on your door if they knew you was able to talk to people when the phones were out. Yeah, Adrian Obby, got New Zealand, Australia. Do you know what? I'll be honest, I've never spoken to Australia. I've heard them going back to when I had my little AM set. Never managed to make the trip. Oh, come on. Chris, Golf Mike 4, what was the aerial? Had a huge basket at the bottom. Oh my God, on the roof of a block of flats. That was a Sigma 4, mate. And the copy of it was the Vector 4000. That's what I had. Monster, absolute monster of an aerial. Darren Barwick had a two-way radio. Yeah, the thing is, when it comes down to interference, it's not always your CB station's fault or your amateur radio station's fault. It's finding that fault. I mean, some people might have had their TV aerial up for the last 30 years, and including the coax, which may well be full of water. They might be receiving a weak signal. I'm sure we all know that. AMC Doogie, Colin 163, got through to Australia last week from Cardiff. Was that on 11 metres there, Mr. Doogie? Yeah, nowadays we're in a whole new environment, aren't we? Back in the 80s, 90s, we would be the ones interfering with the telly, whereas now everything interferes with us. But no one's knocking on anyone else's door saying your solar lights or your dimmer switch or your switch mode power supply is interfering with mate's CB next door. It's a bit of an imbalance, really, isn't it? Rusty Rails says, greetings from Arkansas. Yeah, Rusty Rails, I saw a few of your comments. Welcome aboard. It's good to see you in here. What's the skip like, Rusty, over in Arkansas? Have you heard any sort of long skip, UK or any of Europe coming through? And this is to Chris, Mr. Golf Mike. I'm sure that the Vector 4000 is 30 or 33 foot long. Now, this will make Chris laugh. And I've told this story many times, so if any of you guys have already heard it, turn your telly up. This is the GM4. Years ago, I got right into the CB, and you know what it's like. You want to buy everything, and you want what mate's got that's working really well. And I had something like a GP27. So I went down my local CB shop, Breakers Paradise, and had 100 notes in my pocket. It took me an age to save it up. And I went in there, and I was a bit of a noob, but I was a noob, really. We was all a noob one day. I went in there, and the girl behind the counter says, can I help you? I said, yeah, I want the best home base aerial that you've got. I've got £100 to spend. What do you recommend? So this girl says, you got one of these. Showed me this huge box that was lent up against the wall. I said, how much is that? I can't remember. Was it 80, 90 quid? Bosh, there you go. I walks out the shop with this big old box and shoves it in the back of my mate's car. He had I think it was an Avenger estate there. Got it back to my house. I looked at the thing and I thought, I've seen them before. You recognise it by the basket shape from the old Sigma 4. So me and my mate, we starts putting this thing together, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It was an absolute monster. Andy Bibby says it's a 7/8 wave, the Vector. Well, on mine, it said it was a 3/4 wave. Now, recently, I was talking to an amateur who spoke to someone from Avanti, And apparently it's actually a half-wave radiator over a quarter-wave ground plane or something like that. I just, they're a monstrous aerial. And at times I'll just get on the mic, key up, anyone hear me over all this noise, and a foreigner might come back, a German and Italian or whatever, the thing was absolutely awesome. I loved it. Gary Seed says he can tell when the next door turns on a particular lounge light. Yeah, the ones that dim can be an issue. Now, I'll tell you something now. I drive a Vauxhall, right? It's quite an old Vauxhall. You've probably seen it. You'll probably know what it is. But, I put my life out there to you lot, so you can guess what sort of car it is. It is a Vauxhall, I'll say that. I've noticed if I put the heated rear screen on, it causes a shed load of interference, and I clocked it probably a couple of years ago, and I forgot about it just about a week ago. I'm out, bloody hell, where's all this noise coming from? So I come out of a town and I was out in the sticks, and then I thought, it's that epoxy heated rear screen. Yeah, Fred in the shed's in the house. How you doing, Fred? Yeah, Chris. Yeah, Avanti. The PDL2 was a quad. They were a big old beast. I never had one. But an Italian woman that lived about a mile in a straight line away from me, she went from a DV27 on a biscuit tin with a tin foil in the living room. I used to speak to her. Anna, her name was. She had a few quid, Within a matter of weeks, she realised that she could hear fellow Italians on there. So she said to all the people that was in the know, I want to better talk back home because I've heard other people doing it. She bought herself a PDL2 with rotator, Ham International, I think it was a multi-mode 2, and a 500 watt Bremi amplifier. She used to completely obliterate me, no matter what rig I was on. Chris, football training, no worries, mate. Thanks for popping along, and hopefully I'll see you in the next stream. Take care, mate. David Lamb. Is that for keeping your hands warm when you push it? No, I'll touch wood here. I'll tell you now, I gave very little money for my car. When I bought it, it had done 35,000 miles. It just had 2 new tyres on the front and a full service cam belt, auxiliary belt, oil change and filter, air filter, the complete lot. 35,000 miles. It's now done just over 70,000 miles, not put a spanner on it. It's never missed a beat. It's been a great car. I put tyres on it, new discs and pads on the front. Fred in the shed says, Pucker Dave and Eric swear by Vauxhalls. I'm not a big fan, to be honest. But to be honest, a car to me is a tool. It gets me from point A to point B. And no matter what car it is, if it's at the right money, it's got the right amount of MOT, I'll buy it. I don't care. And I worked with a guy, and he said his father-in-law started having like momentary lapses of concentration, like a bit like a fit, but without the shaking. They said he can't drive anymore. Told me all about the car. I'm like, no, I don't want one of them. He goes, go and have a look at it, Steve. At that price, you'd be a mug not to buy it. And I'm like, no, I want a van or an estate. Went round there, took one look at it. There you go, mate. I'll have that. I think I've had it for about 4 years now. Adrian Hobby says Viva. I had an HC Viva, and I've actually got a picture of me and my mate stood in front of it. I bought it off a mate, and when he bought it, it had the 1256 engine in it, and it was shot. It was completely knackered. 41 people in here. Anyone who's in here that's just come along and hasn't joined in yet, if you've got a question, just get in the chat section, or just tell us a little bit about yourself, what kit you're using, etc. Anyway, my mate's mate was a mechanic, and he goes, that engine, mate, is shot. It's pissing all out of everywhere. It's starting to smoke. Why don't you stick a 1.8, I think it's a Forenza engine in it. Pardon me, cut a long story short, that's what they did. They put an engine and gearbox, a 1.8, but they left the original diff in it, excuse me. So it's very low geared. Yeah, okay, David, I just read that. Cut long story short, my mate had it for a time with this engine in it. I bought it. One day, I'm sat at a set of traffic lights. Now, you've got to bear in mind, I'm only young at this time, probably early 20s. This guy pulls up next to me. I was going to say a Porsche. It wasn't a Porsche. I can't remember what. Oh, dear. It was quite a sporty car, and it had 11 in it. Wasn't a Porsche 911. Anyway, this bloke was quite posh, well-to-do, you know, was dressed all nice, had his driving gloves on in his gleaming car. So I'm sat there in my old Viva, and I'm revving it, and I'm revving it up. When the lights went, me and him went herring off. We had a bit of a race. It was a Saab, that's it. And we had a hell of a go. I mean, this bloke just had the edge on me. But I stuck with him because the car was so low geared. Do you know what I mean? I was away. And I had to duck him behind and pull him behind him. But it got the old boy in a bit of a sweat, and he actually put his hand out the window like, you took me by surprise there. You know, that whole thing shifts. Go on, Adrian. Why don't it fall out of the sky? Richard McCartney is a mechanic. So hopefully, Richard, you've got a bit of an idea what I was talking about there. Rover SKI are a good banger racer or Granadas. I mean, I've shown you guys some of the action from the track I used to race at. I was never a banger racer, but my first race was in the bangers, in with the bangers. You get someone in a Granada that can drive it, then I've seen them things really shift. Yeah, fair play to you, Darren. Do you know what put me off going in with the bangers? I didn't know a lot of people that had cheap Granadas, Triumphs, Rovers, Jags, and all of that sort of car. Some of the guys get a Jag, they completely strip it out, all the glass out of it, all the headline in, you know, fit a roll cage in it, put a water tank in the back, do all the business to it, do half a lap and get completely trashed. And I thought, I can't do that. That to me, it would have killed me to do that. Yeah, Boot Knocker wants a 60 amp power supply for free. Yeah, I want £1 million. Richard McCartney says he has a lot of Cortinas. His first car was a Ford Escort 1600 Sport. Well, I had a Mark II Escort, and it had a 1600 Sport engine in it, 4-branch manifold and all that. That shifted along. Be slow by today's standards, but you know. Darren says he got rolled flat out in second. I presume you mean second gear, and smashed into while on his roof. Never went back. Nissan Sunny. Remember the old Datsuns? My mate had one of them. Ben Spade, yeah, evening, mate. How are you? We've been talking from everything here, from various aerials to banger racing and different old cars that what we've had. People are coming and going, but if you just come along and you ain't joined in yet, get stuck in on the chat section. If you've got a CB related question, or you know, just tell us what you use. Too many people sort of come in and then just sort of clear off again. Boot knocker. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Touchwood was a Ford Popular. Blimey. Ben Speed has been tested positive for COVID. Are you serious, Mr. Ben Speed? And is your first name Stuart? Yeah, and Darren, my first car was an Austin 1100. CB was straight in it. Big time. How are you feeling, Ben Speed? How did you find out that you was positive? Fred in the shed had a CB and a Triumph Spitfire. I never had a Triumph, to be honest. All my motors were right old rock boxes. Andy Cowley said his first car was a Mark III Cortina. Richard McCartney's stepdaughter was sent home from school with symptoms, waiting for test results. Well, fingers crossed for you there, Richard, because if she got it and she lives in the same house as you, maybe, you know, I don't need to, I'm not trying to tell you how to suck eggs, but I hope that, you know, she gets a negative test result. Oh, well, keep us posted, Ben Speed. That's the last thing you want before Christmas. I've got to be honest. I mean, I'm not working, as you all know. But I've done my utmost to stay away from people, including just anyone, really. I'm asthmatic, I'm overweight, which, you know, apparently is pretty bad for COVID. Yeah, Richard McCartney says, yeah, it's best to chat on here or on the old chicken box, as they used to say. You've got me for about another 10 minutes, lad. So if anyone here, there's 43 people in here at the minute. If you're one of the silent people that hasn't typed anything yet, tell us a bit about yourself in the chat section. What rig, what twig, where you are in the world. Do you know what? I was looking through my drawers the other day and I found this 60 amp power supply. Yeah, Fred, what's going on with the post at the minute? Yeah, they were the days. Who's been through McDonald's with her aerial on and forgot? And ka-dang, everyone sort of looks around, don't they? Yeah, possibly, but there is a nice 60 amp power. So there's actually a couple here. Does Fred have a face? Struggling. Yeah, because we're expecting a letter and it's well late. Touchwood is on Portsdown Hill in his camper. Yeah, best place to be, Touchwood. In actual fact, if you're up there, if you've got your rig on, one of our locals is up Dunstable Downs, Bill Sandyman. You should, if you're on a hill, there's no reason maybe why you two can't even have a chat. Albar's been under a park gate, but the spring has survived. Simon Rickson, can you run a 6900 and a Zitagi 301 while mobile off a standard car battery? You on about your car battery that under the bonnet? Fox is asking about the 9900. Can you make it so you're on frequency when you turn a selector? Yes. If you've got a 9900, you can go from channel mode to frequency mode. Once you get it in frequency mode, you'll notice that when you turn the dial, the digits change. Now, if you press the channel change, you'll notice the one on the far right will flash at one point. So if you want to get on CB 2781, like the 19, which is 2778125, you can turn the dial and put the 2 on. You can't get to the 5, but that's neither by the by. Press the channel change again, it will skip to the next digit, so it can go up and you can do exactly what you like with it. Chucky. My Muppet handle's Fat Man, and my wind-up handle was Iron Fist. Okay, touch wood. So you set up the hill in your camper, but you haven't got a CB. I suppose you've got the telly on, haven't you? Paul Metalhead said Sandy Man's up the downs, and he said Birmingham's blowing smoke. Thunderbird, that's a good handle, mate. Mr. T. Snowman, yeah, love it. I mean, back in the day, everyone had a handle, didn't they? It was so much fun. I mean, it's still good fun now, but just in a different sort of way, really. And everyone now seems to know each other because there's not enough people to not know each other. It's good. It's just different, isn't it, than what it was. Stefan, I didn't see you sneak in there, mate. How are you? I was a bit too far out again today, but I'm surprised that you guys on the 305 couldn't hear them two. I think they're Italian guys on AM, or maybe you did hear them, but you know. Colin Wiltshire, I'm going to have to hide my face here because I did say I was going to power test the Anytime. No, I haven't yet, and I've got everything here. I've got the power meter out. I've got the 300 watt dummy load on the back of it. Swady boy. I'm just reading through that. I can't believe that you call yourself BJ. Changed it to red stripe. Yeah, that's a bit more like it. Yeah, Andy Cowley. I was actually on the 305 today. I spoke very briefly to Stefan, but as I said earlier, I was a little bit too far out, really. People were struggling with me. Touchwood on the Hills watching me, and also on Zello. Well, while we're here, and COVID has came into the conversation, I think it was Ben Speed has been tested positive. Anyone else? So, Mr. Dipsy, whereabouts are you at the minute, mate? You actually dragging nets at the minute, or steaming out, or coming back? That's scary, Fred. I've got a family member who works in a school, and I think they've had 3 positives as well. Yeah, Fox. Yes, exactly that. If you're in channel mode and you go channel 1, if you press the button and you go on to frequency, let's just say, for argument's sake, it reads 27555. If you put it to 565 and then go back to channel mode, and you go to channel 2. When you go back down one, it will be where you left it. Absolute brilliant, I think. Dragon near Penzance. What's your main catch, Dipsy? I think you said you was after scallops last time. Yeah, Swady boy, it's really got amongst us, isn't it, to be honest? Like I said, touch wood. It's sort of a bit freaky, really. Richard McCartney said the drive-through test centre was busy while I was there. But it might have just been work-related. We've got a centre near us now. I think there's actually 2. I think there's one in Lucy. It must be in up near Dominic Square testing centre. I think there's another one up in Farley Hill, which is up near Luton Town. Yeah, Colin, I've told you guys this. When I was working in FedEx, this was when COVID basically was starting to grow over here. People were aware of it, and we were starting the social distancing and all that. Well, some of us were. I got a sore throat one night, and it just hit me. It came on really quick, and I had a runny nose and all the rest of it. So I basically had to isolate for 2 weeks. Me and Deb did, and in the meantime, COVID got even worse. The agency I was working at moved out of the office and started working from home. That was the last I heard of them, to be honest. I don't know what happened there. So yeah, most people, I think, they just have a little bit of mild symptoms. Pardon me. Dover Soul. Yeah, I saw that picture, Dipsy. Yeah, Ben Speed, take care, mate. Keep us posted on what's going on. Thanks for popping by. Yeah, Darren Barwick. What can I say regarding the vaccine? Some people are adamant they're not going to take it. Other people can't. Well, I would have it right now if someone came in with a needle. Andy Bibby says, what was your favourite old school rig you ever had? Andy, I'm old school myself. I've had all of the old school rigs, like a lot of us have, but my favourite old school rig was a Cobra 148 GTL DX, hands down. That was my favourite rig. I bought one brand new back in the day. Yeah, it is a little bit scary. It's just a Simon Rexton. Fidelity 1000. Yeah, catch you later, Ben Speed. Adrian Hobby, no, you is just old. Yeah, I'm old. I'm 58, 59 next month. I'll be honest, and I ain't joking when I say this, I'm surprised I lived this long, the amount of capers I got up to when I was younger. Richard McCartney's still got a 148. It's just not working. Yeah, back in the day, my favourite all-time rig was a 148 GTL DX. I also was a fan of the Stalker 9s, Stalker 9 FDX, High Gain 5s. I had a couple of them. I had a Ham International Jumbo, didn't really like that, to be honest. One rig that always escaped me was the Ham International Multi-Mode 2. For some reason, I never got one. I had TriStar 747s, a couple of TriStar 777s, and obviously, God knows how many of the other rigs, like the your Harvards, your Rotels, your Yorks, Benetton 5 stars, near enough all of the Midlands, apart from the Sidebanders, General Electrics, going back to the AM days. I loved all of them. Swady Boy, Superstar 360 FM. I've got one. In actual fact, I thought it was laying down the side of me. I must have moved it. I've got the 360 FM, which is basically, it's a Mark II, so it's basically a 148. Tandies, yeah, I remember going in there. They used to sell, I think it was them used to sell the realistic handhelds, didn't they, and stuff like that. Andy Bibbies just sold his old Ham International too. Had the modulation mod. A lot of the jumbos had the mod. There was, because apparently the modulation on FM was a bit bassy, wasn't it? The Harvard 10-4 Convoy. Simon Rickson says he met his first ever bird over the CB. Likewise, mate. Absolutely. Paul Edwards still got his Magnum S9. I've had the S9. Got it off my old mate Liam, who's no longer with us. You've probably seen the video that I did when it just after he died. Yeah, I used to buy and sell rigs, and in one of my videos, I've put a list of some of the rigs that I had. There's probably as many that I've actually forgot about as well. Metalhead, the Uni-Ace 300 home base, using it now. Adrian Hobby says Fred scared the girls at the eyeball. Imagine that hand crawling across the floor, can't you? Colin Guntrip said his S9 is poorly. Frequency goes up when you key the mic. I don't know whether that could be a mic issue. So no, on the 9900, when the PTT wears a little bit, sometimes when you key the mic, it'll go up or down a channel. If you put a bit of switch cleaner in it, it'll stop doing that for a little while. Swady boy, all I'm going to say is, who's going to be wearing that? Is your missus going to be using that? Or are you going to be using it? Think about it. Colin Wiltshire, Chaser MC 5000. Yeah, I've had one of them, mate. If I remember rightly, they're exactly the same as the President JFK. Funny enough, my first girlfriend had the Chaser 5000. Anyway, guys, I've been on now for an hour and 10 minutes. I want to take this opportunity of saying thanks everyone for turning up. Anyone who wants to hit like, dislike or whatever, it's a good opportunity to do it. There's only 21 likes in here at the minute. Like it, don't like it, whatever, but you know, it would be nice if some of you hit the like button. Martin O'Reilly, yeah, enough said, mate. You know, I'm not, don't. My hat's getting tight, but I know what you mean, mate. I know what you mean. There's a lot of us about. Yeah, take care of yourself, Fred. Hopefully, one day I'll catch you on the rig. I don't tend to get south much, but if ever I do, and it's 3:05 net time, hopefully we'll have a little bit of a hookup. Eddie's mum, right, Brian, what is it? He says, time flies when you're having fun. See you later, Steve. Good health to everyone. Yeah, likewise. Stay lucky, you lot. It's not long before Christmas. Remember what they say. Hands, face, space. Give it your best shot, everyone. Take care, guys. Thanks for coming along. It's been a good crack again. And look out for the next live stream, which will be Sunday evening from 7 o'clock, from any of them that don't know. So thanks, everyone. Catch you all soon. Stay safe.